So it's something like this because we use this to mix up.
There you go.
That'll slowly dissolve.
Boom, boom, boom.
Did you want a little bit extra Jack?
Yes. Extra Jack.
Float a little more on the top for you. Care
It's
for a
a
straw
party.
or anything?
Nope. Thank you, man. Appreciate
You're welcome.
it.
There you go, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna start with this beautiful lady here.
Hi, I'm Erica.
Where are you from?
I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota.
How old?
I'm 23.
Relationship status?
Single.
Okay, sounds good. This one right here, the beautiful redhead.
My name's Kaylin.
Okay, little mermaid. How old is Kaylin and what city is she from?
I'm 28 and I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Beautiful. And all the way to the right, this beautiful lady over here.
My name is Samantha
Uh-huh.
and I'm from West Virginia.
Okay.
And I'm 21 years old.
VA in the house, relationship status?
In a relationship.
Okay, all right, let's get into it. So, ladies, first question. Would you say that men are primarily judged on their status as well as their annual income?
I think to an extent.
To an extent. What about you?
Most definitely.
Okay, Samantha.
Yeah, I don't think it's everything, but
It
a
does-
huge factor. Yeah.
It comes into play.
It's a big chunk.
Yeah.
Well, at least in the long term, right? Okay. And what would we say the ladies primarily of how they rated? How do we value women?
It's hard to think. Okay. Maybe looks, I don't know. I feel like how we hold ourselves will be how we take care of ourselves.
Confidence, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, self-made, and that's how you present yourself. I agree. What about you, Caitlin?
I just say the same thing.
Same
Honestly,
thing.
I don't know, like ditto, like you're judged, we're here
Mm-hmm.
for certain reasons.
Well, I feel like men, like, this is my perspective, I feel like they don't care as much as the money aspect because they know that they can provide that, or most of them can see themselves providing that. So they don't look for that, they look for like how we take care of ourselves, if we can take care of ourselves, if we can take care of them.
I'm glad you understand that. Most women don't actually. In this day and age, most women don't get that one. All right, so we'll start from the right all the way to the left. Samantha, how would you rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10 in attractiveness to the opposite sex?
Ooh, attractiveness. To be honest, I kind of feel a little confident. I'd rate myself like maybe an 8. I mean, I not only think I'm at least pretty attractive for where I'm from, but I have at least a pretty good head on my shoulders, going to law school, so I'll at least have a career, be able to provide for myself, and, at least contribute to, whatever unit I find myself in.
I like it. Next.
I want to be dumb confident and say that I
No.
10 out of 10.
Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, like, I think, like, even if I don't believe that sometimes when I look in the mirror and I, like, have, like, a zit on my face or, like, whatever, my dog bit me, I don't know. And you look at yourself and you're like, oh, I don't feel pretty today. But, like, I, in my head, like, have to remind myself, like, you are a 10 out of 10 when I walk out of the house.
On your best day.
My best day, like, when I looking good as hell, I'm a 12 out of 10. Hell no, I don't care how short I am.
All right. Never good. 10 out of 10. Oh, wow, confident. All right, so let me ask this question. Annually, right, what would a man need to make to be considered a 10 by your standards?
Like if we're like on a scale of just rating him off money.
Oh yeah, we're just talking about finances, that's it. And when I say that, that's because everything else is already a given. He's the height, he's the, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, sure. Like so if I was like going into a relationship with her.
I'm not looking for money, but I'm just saying, it's like, in other words, that's already like, I don't know how I say it.
What
Like,
would be the end
what I'm trying to say is like, okay, boom, this guy
Okay.
was a good looking guy, this guy was attractive, he treated you the way you want to be treated, he was entertaining, he was fun. Still, there has to be a certain annual income in order for him to be significant as,
Okay,
you know what I mean, committed.
To me, hearing like just like at least 6 years.
No, you gotta give me the actual number, so basically
Okay, like-
100 grand.
Yeah, like 200
Right.
grand.
So 100 grand with everything else given respectively,
Yeah.
that could lock down a significant relationship. You could commit
I
to
feel
the-
comfortable.
Right.
Yeah, I feel
If
very
everything else is
comfortable.
in play, you could commit to the 100 grand. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah.
That's for the lifestyle you need to be
Yeah.
at 10. Okay.
That I'd be like,
So,
yeah.
yeah, pretty much the same question the way I explained it to her.
Different.
Because you said you're a 10, so now, the guy has to, come to a 10. So if you're a 10 in looks,
Why am I not even 10 in the first place?
what I'm saying is if you're a 10 in looks, then how much does he need to earn annually to be a 10?
So for me to
As a provider,
completely
as a
ignore
provider.
like everything else about him?
No, you're not ignoring it. Everything else is already in play. Everything else is already there.
It's like what you said before, like it's like
Right.
being like height, like whatever.
Yeah,
and all
everything
that
else is
stuff.
already there.
Not more than me. I'm very competitive though.
Yeah, but competing with your man, that's crazy, but that's what you want in your house. Okay. So give me a number, annually.
I wouldn't say over like 80 grand. I'd be okay with 80 grand.
Okay. All right.
I'd prefer a man who, is continuously trying to make more and up his income, so even if he does start out at the bottom, there at least needs to be that intention and that, progression in place.
So you commit to the ambition.
I would, yeah. I
I
would,
like that.
I would commit to
I'm gonna let you
ambition.
slide on that because I like it. I like it. All right, so hold on. We're gonna stay over here,
Okay.
right? If you had to choose between these two, would you prefer some of a high-valued man's time and attention, or would you rather all of a lower quality man's time and attention?
Well, I guess, just personally, I'd like some more attention. I at least would like, if a man, if he makes a lot of money and he has a lot of power, that's great. But if you're pretty much strangers, if you don't actually have things that you can bond together with and do.
No, not that. All I'm saying is you don't have a monopoly on his time.
You don't have a monopoly? Well, of course I don't expect a monopoly. But there, at least a balance, a better balance than, totally black or white.
But you have to pick one or the other. So you're getting partial of this high-value man's time and commitment and his attention, or you're getting all of it from a lower quality man?
Maybe I'd settle for a lower quality man because I know that what I also contribute to that relationship is to a standard that I feel confident in with myself. And I don't necessarily feel like I need the man's status.
So you're willing to contribute to the lifestyle in exchange for the time?
Yes.
Okay, next.
High value time.
Some of the higher value men. I dig it.
Yeah, me too. Just because I'm personally looking for a best friend when I get married.
Okay. All right, so I'll stay over here since I'm already here. Describe your relationship with your father.
With my father,
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely has been a process, but it's good in the current moment.
Good in the current moment, but you had to work to get there. So
Yeah.
It wasn't always good.
No.
Okay, same question.
Complicated.
I'm not gonna let you say it complicated. Yeah, that's a cop out. Go ahead, give it to me.
When I think of a father figure, I think of the guy that raised me after a certain age. Biologically, I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't know. So
Okay.
it's a tough
Samantha.
it's complicated. Personally, I don't speak to my biological father. That's more kind of his choice. But I do have at least like a stepfather in my life that is pretty supportive.
Well, let me ask you this: what age did this stepfather come into play?
My stepfather,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say about senior year of high school, 2015, or I guess like 2016 roughly was when he got with my mom. So at least a pretty good chunk of time to build a relationship. He actually would come to things like that I invited him to and make a point to just be there and communicate.
Did he hold you accountable, and was he authorized to discipline?
I would say there were times that he would, offer wisdom and advice, but I don't think there was ever a really good opportunity
It's too late
for
in the game.
discipline.
it's
Yeah,
too late in the
yeah,
game. Okay.
yeah. I was already kind of on my own. Yeah.
Okay. With that being said, to what degree do you think that fatherhood and manhood is essential to the development of people?
All the way.
All the way.
All of
It's a necessity.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely there's a certain strength that does come with the masculine figure in your life.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna kind of go over a little bit to fashion and image. How do you feel about women wearing seductive clothing, sexy clothing, promiscuous clothing that are, but they're not interested in sexual attention at that moment?
I think they should wear what like they feel best in. Because when I get dressed every day, I put on what I feel best in. So like, and I know sometimes I want to show my body off because I worked hard on this. So sometimes I'm like, I'm not gonna put that on. But I don't. When I go outside, I'm not like,
No, but
what's up? I put it on because then it makes me walk better, makes me feel better, makes me do more things throughout the day.
right. But what I'm getting at is, how do you respond to and accept or not accept the type of attention that you might get?
I mean, I don't like get mad when it happens. I say thank you, but I don't feed into it. Like I'm not like, oh, really? Like, I'm just like, thank you. Like I don't think that it needs to go any further.
But you accept that's the type of
Yeah.
attention that's going to come.
I mean, that's fine.
Okay.
Whatever. That you want to speak their mind.
What do you think?
And pertaining to like the second part of the question?
Well, the whole thing, like just as far as women dressing that way, and then the type of attention that it garnishes, is it fair game?
Fair, I don't know what I mean by fair game, but like
What
I feel like,
okay, what I mean is, if you're dressing sexy, right?
yeah,
How's interpreted by men is that you are sexually available. You are interested in that type of attention.
I feel like
You
a
know
lot
what I
of it
mean?
goes with response because like I know Caitlin and like when we walk and we hear that we're like thank you and we continue our stuff. We don't sit and kind of let it linger. Like we're very good at cutting it off. Like I mean if you're gonna look at my face and still go,
All right. So the attention is welcome, but it's fleeting. Like, okay.
Yeah, I would say a lot of it also has to do with the amount of like respect it seems like the man has for you.
Mhm.
You know, if you maybe aren't interested, or you know, let's say maybe you're already in a relationship and maybe with your partner out, you know, at least the man should understand, like, at least if you say no, like, or
Yeah, but you're
not,
with your
like,
boyfriend. That's different, though.
yeah, but you know, you never know.
Like my woman
People
can
might.
dress, sexy as fuck. If she's with me, then it's cool because she's with me. You know what I mean? But if she's not with me, it's like, hey, well, who the fuck are you going? Who you gonna dress like that?
Okay, but I mean, a man still might give her attention even if she's with you, and then if he's not, you know, able to just take no for an answer,
Oh no,
or I have a
fun weather, that's
boyfriend.
definitely not happening. It's definitely not happening. Trust me, it's not happening. He can look, but it's not gonna happen. So what do you think about a guy dressing a certain way that doesn't necessarily correlate with the truth? For example, a guy dressing like he's coming
like
from the Navy,
yeah.
but he's not actually enlisted
No,
in the Navy.
I don't know.
No?
No.
You?
it's not okay.
It's not okay?
I mean, I appreciate like honesty and transparency. You know, like
What?
I mean, if a man wants to dress that way, then he should be that way. Then he should take the initiative and actually hold that profession. If he wants to dress a certain way and hold a certain status, you know, back it up.
That's what I'm looking for, because with that being said, there's some guys that would play devil's advocate and say, well, if a woman is gonna dress like a slut, a hoe, or a prostitute, she should take on that profession as well. You see where I'm going with that?
I mean, I feel like it's compared a little off.
Not really. Not
I
really.
mean,
Not
it
how we
is.
interpret it as men, because if you're dressing a certain way that I can't tell you apart from a hooker, if I have to really sit here and think, wait, is she working or is she not?
But
I
I mean,
understand,
You
but
know
like
you
I
do
feel like
find
it comes
that-
to a certain part of like self-control.
I'll give you another example of what I'm trying to say. I live in Miami.
Yeah.
Plastic surgery is like the thing right now. So some of these women, they don't even realize that when they do that amount of work, guys have to ask themselves, is that a natural born woman? And then if someone actually asks that question, they get offended. It's like, you're offended that the guy's asking, but the guy has to ask because he doesn't want to invest the conversation. He doesn't want to be 3 drinks in to realize that you were born Fred. You know what I mean? And now you're Francis.
I mean,
So-
I feel like it comes with comes and goes.
Well, it seems like I'm like all over the place, but what I'm really trying to get at with that question
I
is,
feel like, okay,
what level of responsibility do you take in the way that you dress
Right,
and the way that you
well-
present yourself to the public?
I understand like what you're saying,
Mhm.
but when I walk around and I'm wearing this, I don't look like a hooker.
Well, based on who? Like who's
But that's what I'm saying.
Right, who's interpreting it though?
That's what I'm saying.
I've seen hookers wearing stuff like that before.
Okay, but I'm not one, and I've seen. Do you get what I'm saying?
Right, but it's up to the viewer's interpretation.
Right.
Is my point.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, for example, I didn't actually say that I'm in the Navy, or if I'm wearing a tap out shirt, I didn't actually say that I'm an MMA fighter. But if a female assumes that I'm an MMA fighter and she's attracted to MMA fighters, I might be inclined to not disillusion her because I might get laid because she wants to fuck an MMA fighter. You see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Just like a guy might come over, start buying you drinks, and giving you all this attention because he's thinking that you might be a call girl and maybe you're not. But
Well, that's what I'm saying. So like when
invested
people
as if
come up
you
and
were.
talk to me, like, okay, sure. You see me walk in and I'm wearing this, you think I'm a hooker, okay? You come to have a conversation with me. You say, oh, you look good. When a hooker will look at you and be like, oh yeah, I do, huh? I would probably be like, thank you, and continue with my. So that's what I'm saying.
I've communicated with a girl for over a week before finding out that she was a prostitute. At no point in time did she let me know until it was time to meet up, and then it's like, oh yeah, by the way, X amount of
Well, that's
dollars.
what I'm saying. But I'm saying, like, at a certain point, you should get the hint if
Right.
she's not a hooker.
Okay. I mean,
You should get the hint.
it's up for interpretation, but I mean, I agree with you to an extent. I'm playing devil's advocate. It can be hard out here in these streets. Okay, so next question. What would you ladies say, obviously individually one at a time, but what would you say is one key thing that you feel men fundamentally do not understand about the female experience? Like, what is that one thing that guys just can't wrap their head around?
Can I start?
Yeah, go ahead. If you're ready. If you're
I am.
ready.
I'm very ready. I feel
She's
like,
on it.
yeah. Well, I feel like a lot of them feel like every woman is the same, and then they all just go on and treat them all the same. That's one thing that bugs me so bad. Is when like a guy just gets done talking to a girl or like in a relationship, and then he comes to me and treats me the same way, and I'm like, I'm not on that level. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know, I understand what you're saying 100%. It just isn't really the question that I asked. The question that I asked is what do they not understand about the female experience in general? In other words, the opposite of what you're saying.
Oh, okay.
What do they understand about that all women do understand and experience, but men just can't get it, they can't relate to it?
I feel like trauma sometimes, like how women accept it differently than men, and men sometimes like suppress a lot of things, so they don't carry it with them, and women do. So I feel like when they go in situations, they're kind of annoyed by it or don't want to hear it and kind of don't want to work with them on it. They're kind of just whatever, and like a woman is looking for someone for that, like, you know what I mean, to help them through it.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But me personally, I don't have that problem. I'm actually very receptive to that.
Yeah.
And I understand that.
See, well, that's what I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I understand that that's very important.
Yeah.
Okay. I also think it's an opportunity to set yourself apart from other men because it's an opportunity to make a real strong connection and investment.
Yeah, I agree.
Your turn.
Lost at the end there, but could you repeat the question?
So what is the one thing that you think men fundamentally do not understand about the female experience? And I say female meaning like all females. Like all females can relate on this. We all can kind of like look at each other and wink and it's like telepathy. What guys don't get,
I feel like the emotions that a female goes through in a man's presence,
right?
that could be something, because like I think a lot of girls like sometimes they get like really nervous when a guy.
If you like the guy, go ahead.
Or if you don't like the guy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But you know, and there's like certain things that like how I don't know, like men like talk or walk or just like general things that is like you'll never know because you're just not the opposite sex. That's what it basically comes down to.
Okay. Samantha, what do you believe is the one thing?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of men kind of underestimate the amount of value that a woman can have. It's not, you don't just want to base your partner on attractiveness, physically, but women can have, there are a lot of really intelligent women. I mean, you could find like someone with a PhD, and then that makes you look even stronger because it, not only maybe pushes, you to be your very best self, but you have this, equal balance of we're both working to do our very best and to be the very best that we can be together, like from a more equal standpoint. You know what I mean?
Well, I agree with that if you have some type of congruent goal as a couple, whereas your individual goals personally kind of flow into that same stream. So you might be like, okay, this is what I'm focusing on, this is what I'm doing, but ultimately these streams are going to flow into each other.
Exactly.
They're going to feed the same overall goal, because whatever we're doing, we're not going to do it forever. So we're kind of using these channels to, to create a stream that's going to go to like some type of life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Life goal together.
I mean, I'll give an
Ultimately,
example.
that's family, but
At least I think at least my current relationship has that dynamic. I mean, my boyfriend, he owns his own business. He's also freelance, and I'm actively working at law school. I work for a law firm, and so we both kind of have these like active goals and ambitions that we're working toward, really stable careers, and that can really evolve and become really great.
I mean,
feeling,
it sounds like you guys have communication, I think, which is like,
yeah, and that
lost
alone
neither.
is
I
very.
didn't lose the phone or the jack Daniels. Yeah, but it sounds like you guys have communication, which obviously is key regardless, So, I've heard like this feminist myth that like, oh, women can have it all and all this kind of stuff, and you focus on your career, and then you get married later, and you can have a family later, all this kind of shit. So there's like a lot of guys that think, oh, that's bullshit, that's a fantasy, there's no way that anybody can have it all, women can't have it all. And I actually agree and disagree at the same time. I think that yes, actually women can have it all, right? But there's some caveats to that. They can have it all, but they cannot dictate or negotiate the timing and certain aspects of those goals, child rearing being one of them, and significant marriage being another. And also the other thing is they cannot do that independent of a joint plan with a man. Because the way that's phrased, it sounds like you yourself can have it all, and you can decide, I'm gonna get married at this age, I'm gonna have my baby at this age, and my husband's gonna make this amount of money. It's like, whoa. That sounds a lot like a lot of me planning, right? A life that kind of involves another adult without, you get what I'm saying? The input of that other adult.
I think that's okay as long as there is that communication and the partner is okay with that.
That's my point.
But I mean, and then if your partner doesn't have those same goals and those same views, then it's just not going to work out.
Not only that, that partner can't come in later on. You can't plan the Disney fairy tale life and the marriage and the whole 9 yards before you even met said husband. So if you want to be a career woman, and you want to be a mom, and you want to be a wife, you want to be all these things, personally, I believe that yes, you can have all those things. You can't fucking focus on your career by yourself. Let me first focus on school, then let me focus on my career. Oh, and then when I'm getting ready, I'll find a husband, and he's gonna marry me, and we're gonna have kids. Like, wrong. What you're gonna do is you're gonna find this fiance early in the game, right? And you're gonna tell him, this is what I want in your early 20s. And he's gonna say, you know what? I like that, I respect that, I can get on board with that, but this is what I want. And can we do both? And then you're gonna say, okay, well listen, we're gonna get married early, we're gonna get the kids out of the way, and then when the kids are 5, 6, 7, then the man by that time, he's already established what he's trying to do with his career, so now he can minimize his hours, he can come on and spend more time with the children now, so now she can go back to school or do what she needs to do career-wise and education-wise. You get what I'm saying? Because the biological clock isn't gonna wait.
I don't really.
Well, the biological clock isn't gonna wait is my point. So the
I
planning,
get what you're saying, but I feel like that situation's.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily agree
but
with
these
that.
women want it all though. There's women that want to be independent, they want to have this career, but they also want to have a family. How are you going to pull off both if there's a time frame on when you can have children?
I think reasonably you can do both. I mean, you can get an education in a reasonable amount of time and begin a career if you're ambitious and you have the motivation to go and do that, and then still have the time to create a
Right,
stable
but
relationship.
that's not going to happen if you don't have that person from the ground level. You would have to have that person around college age that's agreeing with you that this is life we're going to build together. You can't go shopping for that guy at 30 is my point.
Well, I mean, maybe a man will have been single or will have created his own, ideas, and then those just kind of mesh together
and at that time,
whatever time that you meet.
And then he's going to want to invest in the 30-year-old woman and do that.
But I mean, then you're just
I heard that.
you're putting so much pressure on people to settle because if you put so much pressure on people to find someone early.
Am I putting that pressure?
Well,
or is nature putting that pressure?
Well, I don't know.
Nature decides the shot clock for women, baby. It's not me or any other man. It's nature.
My mom had me at 35, and I turned out
And
pretty
that is
well.
and that is a nominal. That's not the norm, and that's not the average, and it's not the majority. Okay, that's in the minority. I'm being honest with you. That's in the minority. A woman having a child or her first child in her mid-30s. That's a minority, right? And it's not the best case scenario. So I'm just saying. I'm talking about realistic, general terms. What's more likely is the blueprint for the plan, right? A successful plan is putting things into play that are more likely to work, not all these long shots, right? Because if you have all these multiple variables that are all very unlikely, now your plan becomes very fucking unlikely, and you have to be a magician to pull it off, or lucky.
Well, I mean, maybe if it doesn't, maybe if it just doesn't work out that you don't find a partner early on.
Why would you want to gamble like that? Why would you want to gamble on the maybe with your life?
Because, I mean, at least with my own career, at least with my own education, that's something that I have control over. That's something that if I'm not able to find a partner that at least fits my standards, at least fits, what I see fit in a partner, then I at least want to be able to take care of myself and at least feel like I hold the value and the confidence about myself that will eventually attract that partner that I'm looking for.
Right, but
if I'm at a higher standard, if I'm networking with higher level people, then I'm going to attract a higher level mate.
But that thinking is faulty, right? It's faulty because that's not necessarily what men are looking for, and you want the best option in men, right or wrong.
But I mean, if you're saying that a woman should find a higher level male, to kind of be the dominant one in the relationship, then he's gonna want a woman that is at least he sees value in her in some way. And so if a woman isn't at least working on herself in some way and trying to strive to be better, then what value is that higher level man going to see in her?
Well, I'll tell you this much. Women have a hell of an advantage when it comes to being valuable. You don't have to work that hard to be valuable to a man, to be honest with you. You don't. And the type of effort that you're talking about, putting that type of effort into education or career, right? I'm telling you right now, that's only going to be valuable to a man if he essentially values you as a person, as an individual, so he loves you so much that he's willing to appreciate that because it's important to you. I'm telling you right now, it's not fucking important to him, right? He would have took you as a cocktail waitress. Any man that's gonna love you and value you as a lawyer or whatever exec or whatever high profile career, that guy would have valued you as a cocktail waitress. I'm gonna say that right now. But what's clouding your judgment is you're not realizing that you wouldn't as a female. As a female, it doesn't work that way. A female's not gonna have the same level of value, right? Maybe the same level of attraction to an extent, but she's not gonna have the same value level for a guy if he busts his fucking tables at a club or if he's a high-powered attorney. It's not gonna work. In fact, she'll be sexually attracted to a guy. In the back of her mind, she'd wish that he had a more powerful level of status. You get what I'm saying? She would think, if only this guy was fucking somebody, then I could marry him. She would say, I love this guy to death, the sex is amazing, all this type of stuff, but I can't see myself with him because he cannot guarantee me the lifestyle that I think that I need, or I'm not willing to settle for any less than, which makes it become a gamble now, right? So how ambitious is this guy? Do I believe that he's gonna pull it off anytime soon, right? And the moment she's decided he's not, because he's not even trying, he doesn't even believe in himself, she's already looking for a better option. She's already looking around like, all right, this guy's gonna do nothing but be a good time in the short term. Right or wrong? You can agree or disagree.
Ladies,
I think each one's gonna make up their own mind on that. You decide.
yeah, I think it's pretty subjective. I think it really depends on what active steps he's already taken.
That's my point. If a guy shows you that, hey, listen, you know what, this is what it is. It's busting tables and then Call of Duty when I get off. If that's what it is, you're gonna walk. And it's not your choice. See, you're talking as if it's a choice. Attraction is not a choice. You're gonna automatically start to lose attraction for
But
this guy.
there's a lot of people that you can be attracted to out there, you know. There are a lot of fish in the sea.
And can you build
That's
a
a little
life?
trash too.
Okay, so you see my point. And I'm telling you guys right now, you guys are young. You guys are still young and you guys are still beautiful. So you're still motivated, right? To work, you're still motivated to earn. I'm telling you right now, that's not gonna last for long. You don't see it now, but I'm telling you right now, when you get in your 30s, you are not gonna be as motivated to work. You're not. You think you are, but I'm telling you right now, you are not. You're gonna start change. You're gonna have a change of energy. You're gonna want more for a guy to take care of you than for you to be getting up every day and going and competing in the world in this career thing, right? You're not gonna have the same level of motivation. It sounds crazy to you now because you're very, very focused now, but you will not be 10 years from now or 8 years from now. You won't. You're not gonna want. You're gonna start to resent having to work. Now, if you were passionate about your job and your career, you would still have the interest to that extent, but you don't want the pressure having to work. You understand what I'm saying? To pay bills and keep up with the Joneses.
I mean, I understand, but I mean, it's nice that, you know, a man can take care of you. It's not a total necessity. But
Well, we're not talking about necessity, we're talking about
I would
happiness.
like to, you know, actively work. It's not like
Now,
if I
in the-
want,
hold on, in
if
the
I
present you do.
expect myself to, you know, hold a higher level position and be like a judge or like an actual respected attorney, then my work doesn't stop at 30. My work
Okay.
doesn't stop.
Have you looked at the statistics on attorneys, female attorneys in their mid and late 30s?
I mean, there are quite a few female attorneys.
I'm not talking about how many they are. I'm talking about the hours that they choose, they opt to work after a certain age. You do realize that male attorneys outwork female
Well,
attorneys.
that's just statistics based on the fact that there have been more male attorneys
No,
in general.
no, that's not what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the hours in which they choose to work. When you compare female lawyers and attorneys, right, to male lawyers and attorneys, the males choose to work more hours, especially as they get older. Also, the females that make partner, right, statistically quit shortly thereafter. That means what men work all those years to achieve to become partner at a firm, when women finally achieve that, they usually end up retiring soon or quitting soon.
Okay.
But they thought that that's what they wanted.
I'm interested what these statistics are. But statistics are always changing. The trends are constantly evolving, especially as more females enter the workforce. There are statistically now today more females in law school
Maybe
classes
you're mixing two
than
different
males.
numbers. I'm not talking about the amount of women that become attorneys. I'm talking about once they become attorneys, they're successful attorneys, they're veterans at what they do,
I understand.
the hours that they choose to work. And it's to say, hold on, this phenomenon is seen across the board. It's the same thing for female surgeons, it's the same thing for female doctors. So we're starting to see a pattern, meaning that these women work extremely hard.
Well, because
to get to where
women
they
are
are.
stereotypically expected to be the ones to take care if they are supposed to have a
I'm
family.
talking
The
about
balance.
choice. I'm talking about choice. I'm talking about women that don't even have children.
Choice?
How can they
Okay,
have
well,
children?
a
They
lot
spend
of
their
those
career becoming a lawyer.
statistics, it isn't just about choice. Maybe the woman has to choose based on other outside circumstances. Maybe the woman is, you know, she's a caregiver. Maybe she has more responsibilities outside of just that career, and so she's forced
I'm not
to
talking about women that have
delegate.
children. I'm not even talking about women that have dogs. I'm talking about women that hit 34, 35, 36, 37, and they just don't feel like working as many hours as they did when they were 26, 27.
Okay,
So
no one does.
I think, no, that's not true. That is not true. Men are the opposite. They actually start working more hours. They start opting for more overtime. So I think what you're doing is you're overcomplicating a very simple biological trait. Women just aren't as competitive and motivated about career as men. They don't draw the same satisfaction. Do you understand what I'm saying? Giving up those Thursday nights, drinking wine with their friends, you know, not being available to baby showers and weddings.
I feel like naturally women are more logical with money, and men, when they go to work, they want to work and they want to work and they want to work and get their money, blah blah. Women, they go, they make their money, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna go.
Just kind of floored.
You know,
Who thinks like that when it comes to money?
Me.
Women, that's my point.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not like, it's just like how it is. It's like they go and you guys just want to work and work and
But
make
that's
money.
my point.
But we make what we need, and we're like, okay.
Right. As men, we're always trying to up the next guy.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think that's what drives our species forward. And I think that women start realizing that they want to invest in relationships, they want to invest in family, they want to invest in children. And I think men want to do the same, but they do it in a different way. A man investing in family is a man being career driven because he wants to up the quality and the value of life for his family. That's where that motivation comes from, right? The more money I can make, the more power I can acquire, is the more I can protect and provide for my family. Whereas a woman is thinking the more time I have available for my children and for my family, is the more I can invest in the family.
Have children.
No, I don't. But for that reason, because I want to have full control over that environment, over that situation.
Because I have children, so when I think about when my kids, because I personally have two different dads for my children. One of them is very family oriented, and the other one's very work oriented. One goes to work, gets his stuff done, more logical like I would. The other one wants to work, never is around, whatever. The difference between their relationships with their dad is insane. It's insane. Like my 6-year-old, who's very close with her dad, who works, goes home, spends time with her. They the best friends. And like for me, I understand the taking care part. It's crucial. That's great. But for me, I don't want a man that's not going to be around, who wants to only care about money, because when you die, there's nothing going with you besides your memories that your kids have with you, not your money. Because to me,
well, hold on. Let me ask you this first, because you have to clarify for us. Which one are you currently with?
neither.
Okay.
I'm single.
Well, I mean, because it's the woman who's kind of going to put that kind of pressure on the guy. I mean, that's why men and women, they kind of need each other to balance each other out.
Well, I'm going to say right now, the one I would be with right now is the one that would work and come home to our kid.
No, but that's my point though. That's on you as a wife to say, hey, babe, whoa, you're working a little too much.
Right.
You know, try to. And then he finds a compromise. He finds like a healthy medium. Because if you didn't say that, he might just work himself to the bone, and he's not spending enough time with family.
So I'm like saying because I feel like.
But then again, that could be his love language.
Right.
That's how he's showing that he loves you.
Just as much as his love language is work, so is ours.
No, I agree. That's why I said we need the balance.
Right.
We need to meet in the middle, because there's things the guy has to remind the woman of, and there's things the woman needs to remind the guy.
But I'm just saying, yes, money is important for that, for your kids, and a lot of men. But
time is important too. I agree.
They overdo it to an extent, because it's like, yeah, money's great. Your kid will be able to do whatever. That's fine. But are you gonna be there?
Yeah, I'm not advocating for an extreme.
Right.
I'm just saying we have our tendencies, generally speaking, and I think that's why men and women complement each other so well, because we kind of find a middle place, in between our extremes that is healthy for children. Right. It's healthy for children. It's healthy for family. If it was up to guys, we'd never have fucking baby showers. We'd never have, you know what I'm saying? These social events and these family events. So, all right. Well, listen. I want to thank you, ladies. We talk about a lot of interesting shit. Anything you guys want to talk about? There's no subjects you want to. There's no subjects you want.
I hit mine with the kids one.
Oh yeah, you got it out. You got it out. Any venting over there? Something
No. No, I think we had some pretty good discourse.
Yeah, because you're talking from a privileged standpoint. So I want you to.
I'm really
know.
not.
I'm gonna hit you like a liberal.
Don't.
No, you're check your privilege. So you are talking from a privileged place, because right now the average woman is not in a healthy, committed relationship. relationship, you are more educated than the average woman, and then you have, you know, your career on the horizon, right? So you are speaking from a privileged position that not everyone
There
can
are
speak
so
from.
many women in education right
Right,
now.
but it's not the majority. It's not the majority, is what I'm saying.
It is,
And
actually.
hold on,
In a lot of
hold on.
schools.
So you're telling me the majority of women are in this level of education?
No, but
Have
what
this-
I'm
hold on,
saying
let me finish. Have this career, right? And then also have a committed, supportive boyfriend. That's what you're telling me?
No, but what I'm saying is, statistically, in a lot of university classes, the majority is actually women now,
No, I
because
know
more
that.
women are getting into education.
Okay,
and workforce.
hold on. The majority of women, right, dominating the atmosphere, right? It being mostly female students does not mean that most females are in this level of education. Those are two different statistics, right? So yes, 60 something, maybe 66% of these college campuses are female now. That doesn't mean that 66% of women are in that age caliber. And also the overall point that I'm making is, even if they were, are they in successful committed relationships with a guy that's supportive of that? That is the part that makes you privileged. A lot of women are actually sacrificing that relationship to be in that position. You have the luxury of having both.
Well, I mean, I will say that I'm not educated on the statistics.
Right.
And
I mean, that's the same as me meeting a guy. Like, I met a TSA officer just recently on the flight, and he's a relatively young guy, recently married, 4-year-old. Okay, he's extremely fortunate. Most guys his age are not able to hold down a marriage, right? There's a lot of guys who are not able to dominate and be in their child's lives, right? Guaranteed, right? In a functional nuclear family, right? And then also, officers have the highest divorce rate. That their profession has the highest divorce rate. So he is privileged. He is lucky, right? Statistically speaking, he is lucky to have all of those things working for him in unison.
okay.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So for him to say certain things, it's like, buddy, you're lucky, right? Because a lot of guys who are going through it with the divorce court, there's a lot of guys that are going through it with the child support, and there's a lot of officers that can't keep their wife from fucking somebody else while they're out protecting the servant. And this is what the numbers say. This is what the numbers say.
That's a whole other.
Like this isn't anecdotal. This is what the numbers are saying.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Right. So I'm just saying. Just that particular guy is fortunate, just like you are fortunate as well, right? You're fortunate.
Yeah, I'm.
Just so we know that. Just so we know that. So just be grateful. You can.
I am grateful.
All right. Well, I want to thank you, ladies, for not only being beautiful, because I'm a guy and that's all I care about. No, I'm joking.
It'd be like that sometimes.
It'd be like that sometimes. All right, but I do want to.